So guys, this is me walking through a market, and as you know, markets are notorious for harassment, because you will be harassed by the traders, by any person who feels like they can have power over you. And also, if you notice, there are these guys who carry luggages, like this one who's coming with this trolley. These guys will hit you and abuse you very badly. Like there's this one time I don't know where my mind was. So I was just walking and I didn't see one of them coming. So he ends up hitting me, and I end up standing, because you cannot arrange the merchandise of these traders, because if you do now, that's another issue. So when I stand, he ends up telling me, wewe unatembea hapo ukikatua, kunafikiria hapa hii soko ni ya boyfriend yako? And I'm wondering, oh my goodness, it didn't have to get to this part. So most of the women who are walking through these streets have been harassed in one way or another. And the truth is that sometimes you get used to it, and learn to have coping mechanisms, because if you do not, you will not have a life, and you will actually live in fear and will not do anything. So if you've noticed I'm walking so fast, this is because if you do not have anything that you're acquiring from such a place, or you're buying, it's better to walk fast, as it will save you a lot of trouble and will save you a lot of time of trying to de-escalate a situation of harassment. So in this video, I will be talking about the various situations and scenarios of harassment that have really stuck with me and have left a really bad taste in my mouth, because you'll just hear about them yourselves and just wonder whether, I know most of the time women will go through this every single day, and we still have to forge on. So let's get right into the video, listen to some of the things that I have to say.
Hi, good people. How are you doing? So, today is Friday, the 29th of October 2021. I'm really glad to have been able to see this day. I'm thankful to God that He's given me the chance to be alive, because so many people will have wanted to see this day but didn't get the chance. Personally, I've lost count of the number of times that I've been harassed in public. And mainly today, I will be dwelling on harassment, mainly in public means of transport, because I know each and every person who's used public means of transport, especially if you're a lady, you've gone through this. So, what prompted me to make this video was a recent occurrence. I decided the other day to board the commuter train, the long one, because there's the DMU. I actually usually don't know what the DMU means. So if you know, kindly enlighten me. It comes from Embakasi village and stops over at the terminus at Feather at around, let's say, 9 minutes past 7. So I rushed there and get there. I don't know where on this particular day it was crowded, because it was a bit late. So many people who had pangered themselves to Jav decided to use the train. So we were crowded. So I get there, and at the door it's a bit crowded. So I moved to the middle part where you use those handles to support yourself. So on getting there, I realized, Allah, there's this guy who, there's so much space, but he decides to come near me. And in my head, I'm telling myself, since there's nobody beside me, it can't be that this is his crotch. So all along in my head, I'm thinking, since we're standing, like it's like we're standing side by side, this could be his phone or something else. But in my instincts are telling me that something is not right. Why does he keep on shifting his position when I shift? That's what I'm asking myself. So at the end of the day, I decide to just look because I was on my phone looking at the cost list for the day. And I look, and actually, we're not standing side by side. His crotch is on my tushy, and I'm wondering, are you even serious? So what I did, I just put my hand like this so that there's actually space in between my body and his body, so that his crotch doesn't no longer touches my tushy. So at that point is when I realized I was actually being harassed. In my head, this was not happening. And it's recently, it's last week. It's last week. And trust, and I've always learned to trust my instincts now because I've realized anytime that your mind tells you that this is not right and this is not supposed to be happening, do not dismiss your mind, because what will end up happening, you will leave the place feeling like you've been defiled, you will feel the place feeling dirty, leave the place feeling like something else. So the other instance that happened was a while back in 2018. So in 2018, I liked working a lot because when you're working in an office setting, mainly you do not have time to even wake up in the morning and work out. So I will position myself in a way that in the evening I will be dropped at Don home and walk home. It's a distance. At that time, it was a distance. So I get to Don home, and forward drops you on the other side. Kupanda forward is another thing. It's something that you should not do if you've never done. So I panda on the and alight at the other side, then cross over to now this side, the other side for Don home, where is it Quick Mart? Where Quick Mart is. So I stand there, I'm waiting for a matatu to come so that I can board and go home. Because on this particular day, I don't know, I was drained and I had made the bad decision of not boarding a matatu that would take me directly home. And also, the other reason I used to board those matatus was that it's cheaper. You can panda at Mudurwa with Kenya shillings 40 bob, and then get home, and at the end of the day we work out. So I'm standing there. I even remember I had a white top, not those creamy ones, it's a white, an extremely white top, and I'm standing there for about like 5 minutes. So 5 minutes into it, people are coming, and we are becoming so many at the stage. So I tell myself, there's this guy who's coming, and he's coming towards me in a way that it looks like he's charging towards me. But in my head, I told myself, this is a stage, and I should just mind my business. So I was thinking that he was coming to stand beside me, but no, I was terribly wrong. What happened was that he came and grabbed my boob and squeezed it. And all this time I'm shocked and wondering, what just happened, because he did it in a split second. And when I went to grab his hand, he ran. Na si ati alikuwa anakaa mwenda wazimu. He looked like a person with the same mind. And I remember I felt like I've been defiled so much, because personally I don't like people getting into my personal space, and it feels like, no. What I decided was that I decided to walk home. Even with my fatigue, I walked home. I didn't wait for a matatu anymore. I walked home because I couldn't understand how all this is happening in a public space and nobody is coming to your rescue. Nobody is even asking you what's happening. Everybody is minding their business, because at that time I tried to grab uh, his hand. He actually stepped on other people and created a whole fracas, but nobody even wanted to know what was happening. So I just collected myself and walked home. The other incident that happened uh, was in an Embasava matatu. I remember, I don't know, I was going through some hard time, and my emotional state of mind and mentally I was not doing well. So I get into this matatu. I remember it's like I left work at around 4 or 4:30, not the normal time. So it was quite early. It was during the day. So this guy comes. He could not talk. So he was raising funds for something. And the paper that he had was laminated. So he comes, he's holding toffees, the sweets. He comes, gets into the mat. I'm seated in front, not where the dairies usually sit. I'm seated behind the driver's seat, and there's a partition between the driver's compartment and now the matatu. So I'm just seated immediately after that driver's compartment. So I'm seated there, and I'm deep in thought. I can't even remember what I was thinking about at that time. Because personally, I've come to learn that when I'm stressed, I usually tell myself this phrase, that what matters now will not matter 2 months from now. It will not, if it's disturbing me too much, it will not be as serious. And if it's something that I've accomplished, the truth is that 2 months from now I will want to accomplish something better. So see, I'm seated thinking about my own things. Then this guy comes, he cannot talk. So I'm thinking, to this day, I want to assume that it's genuine and it's not a way of him harassing people. I'm seated like this, and he comes with his laminated paper about requirement for financial assistance. So he comes and drops this paper on me. Remember that it's laminated. So it ends up dunga in my skin, and I'm startled because all along, the only person who was seated next to me was on the other seat across over there. So this is town at Ambassador. We are waiting for the matatu uh, to be filled with people so that we can leave. So the person seated there over there is a man, and he ends up dungaing me with this with the thing. I look at him, and then he points at the paper, and then I tell him no, because at that time I did not have money, and to be honest, I did not feel convicted to give him the money. I have this thing that if I do not feel like you are genuine, I will not bother myself, because I wouldn't want to feel like I was duped. So see, I look up and he points at the paper because he cannot talk. I shake my head because I realize he cannot talk. He refuses to pick up the paper and keeps pointing at it aggressively. So I pick the paper up and put it down on the seat next to me. So what he does is he grabs my hand and pinches my hand so painfully. And all along, I'm in my thoughts and I can't even comprehend what just happened. Then he walks out and points at me like it's a threat. Like he's threatening, if I see you next time, I will do something to you. And let me tell you the truth, it actually worked. The threat worked. I did not, actually, I've never boarded an ambassador from ambassador again. So when I heard that matatus were going back to carrying full capacity, personally, I didn't feel good about it because I have had men who come and sit next to you specifically just to harass you. There's this one time I'm seated just minding my business, and then this guy who's seated next to me, the first thing that happened and I noticed was when he was reaching out for his pocket. Um, he ends up, he can't even just move aside, create space between you and him so that he reaches into his pocket. He keeps on putting his pocket and I'm trying to move away. It's like he's moving closer to me. Eventually I just decided, let me just put my bag for you to finish whatever you're doing, for you to finish getting your fare, and then we settle down. And then a few minutes into the ride, this guy is kind of like touching his crotch, and I'm wondering, how do you do this in public? How do you do this in a public means of transport? And I was so appalled, and I felt so dirty after that ride. And I know so many women can attest to this. Mwanaume ametoka na huko anakuja kukaa. It's like he didn't know that he was in a public means of transport and needed to access his pocket and get his fare. Just if you feel that it will disturb the next person next to you, remove your fare from your pocket before you even sit down. It's just common sense. Please don't go touching yourself in a public means of transport or even in public generally. It's my understanding that most women have have been through harassment in one way or another, which ends up to be now sexual harassment. Someone is harassing you because of your sex. And I have come to understand that it's a thing that happens worldwide because I have even seen social experiments being. I'm really against uh, the fact that you will stage a woman being beaten up, a woman being spanked in public just to see people's reaction. And the truth is that I have a problem with that because this will hamper or put doubts in the minds of people who really want to help. Because if you tell me that a woman has been spanked in public and then you've ended up telling people that it was a social experiment, then the next time this person sees another person being abused or harassed in public, they won't even bother because they will tell themselves that it might be a social experiment. And personally, I agree with them. There is no way that you will tell that person that this is a social experiment. No, it's not real. That means that other people, other women, other men who will need help genuinely will not get it. So I think that even as we do these social experiments, in view of enlightening the public that these things actually happen to people, you should later on go and say that it's a social experiment when you're outside of that setting. Because in the era of social media, things spread like wildfire. Yani, you do something today, and in the next minute, you're trending. You might not be known by anybody, but you will end up trending hata kama haujui. Like recently, the Baba Gloria thing. There's someone who didn't even think that this thing will escalate to that point. So here are some of the things that I have learned to trust my instinct always. When I feel like this person does not look like they have good intentions for me, I trust my instincts very fast nowadays. I will get out of the situation. The next thing that I learned, and I learned this from experience as well as research, is to reclaim your space. If somebody is coming too close to you, just put a mechanism, just maybe put your bag or even put your elbow and just put space in between you and them. And if it is a situation that like in commuter trains where you can end up just looking the person in the eye, do that. Look them in the eye. I think also the other way that could help is if victims of harassment could just, you can secretly video this person. Because you see, now in a public means of transport, there is no way to know what is this person's name. You cannot know a person's name from a matatu or from a train ride if you don't know them and you've not talked to them, because clearly their sexual advances to you are forced. These are things that you really do not want. So that's one thing that I have come to learn. Please, one, trust your instincts. If your instincts are telling you that there's something wrong, there's actually something wrong. And even if you're walking on a street and you're feeling like there's something wrong, kindly just trust your instincts. Your instincts will never lie to you. Another thing that I have learned is to look that person in the eye and tell them, just keep away, keep away, keep distance between you and me. Because I've come to understand that as Kenyans, we mind our business too much, even when we're not supposed to. We mind our business too much. Because nobody will come and ask you in public, sis, are you okay? Akuna. You will have to fight for yourself. So just be vocal about it. And also, I know there are people who sometimes will come and help you de escalate the situation. I also have a little bit of some advice. Uh, uh, if you want to get into a situation and help a person who's going through harassment, please just don't go into it with muscle and macho-ness, because you do not know what this person has. They could be potentially, it could be a potentially fatal situation, because I've seen those happening. There's this YouTuber, his name is John Korea. He's based in the United States and teaches people mainly on defense. and how to de-escalate situations, how to handle them. And he takes videos from different countries and assesses how maybe you should have handled the situation, or how the situation was handled well. And I think such videos are very important, because it is bad for you to go save someone from harassment and end up getting hurt yourself. So even as we learn as a society to intervene in such situations, I believe it's important for us to learn how to handle the situations, rather than just go into it not knowing what we're supposed to be doing. So, have you subscribed? Are you new here? Kindly consider subscribing and consider liking. Uh, so, we have talked about de escalating. We were talking about de escalating, and let's just look at it like this. When you realize that someone is being harassed, I think the first thing you need to do is just ask them, are you together? As in, or something of that sort, just to lighten the moment and bring down the tension, so that you can get cues from this person being harassed, whether it's okay. Because you could get into it and maybe they are dating, maybe they're husband and wife, maybe they were together, and you look like a person who just like knows getting nosy and spoiling people's fun. uh Recently, a friend of mine called Faith, one of the closest people I have in my life, told me that she had gone to a recreational space, a swimming pool to be specific. And then she realized, like, there's this guy who had segregated a girl and looked like he was harassing her. So she told me that when the guy left, she went and asked the girl, "Are you okay? Was he harassing you?" And the girl told her no. So my friend thinks that it's all good, and what ends up happening is that this was actually, according to what Faith was told by the girl, this was her boyfriend. So see, she's seated, she's minding her business swimming. So this girl and the guy had come with a couple of guys, and they looked like they were intoxicated. So she was telling me about how these people ended up looking at her weird, and it made her uncomfortable. So the other thing that I would like as girls and women and as our society in general, when someone shows you their good nature by trying to just know whether you're being harassed, please do not behave like they are against you. They are not. And don't also put their lives in danger, because this person was just trying to help. Don't turn against them. And so these are the lessons that I have learned. Perhaps you can share your experiences with regards to harassment in public, and also how you have learned to or to get over it, because it actually affects your mental state. Do you know, every time that I get out of my my house, I'm wondering how is this day going to be. It even influences the kind of a dress that I will put on, because I do not want attention. I do not have the strength to even try to de-escalate a situation of harassment. For women, it's different. A harasser will give the excuse that it is how you dress that made them react the way they did. This is just how it is. I'm hoping that awareness will be created over time, just to keep women safe. Because I've realized that also the Sexual Offences Act, the one for 2006, I believe it's here to be amended, but there should be an amendment on that act, because there is no express provision on it regarding harassment in public, because it mainly dwells on harassment from an unauthorized person. That means that if you're harassed in public, there is a lacuna, and it cannot be cited as a law. It cannot be cited uh, as an offense under that section. So, because I have gone through the Section Offences Act and realized that there's something that needs to be changed. So, what I would say is that there needs to be policies. Like, if a circle has various reports of people being harassed, it should be closed. At least I know that with the commuter trains, they have tried to put police officers in stations and also in the trains and in the terminus. Just if you can report, there's a reporting mechanism. You can go and the situation will be handled. So the other thing that I know should be done is, and we should encourage people to record when they go through these processes of harassment. You could even help a person by recording when it's going, uh, when they are being harassed. It will help them. Trust you me, it helps. Because this is a person whose name is not known. How will you know that it was true? Because they don't even have a name. Not like how you will be harassed in an office setting and you can say, it's my manager, it's my colleague. No, because you know the name, the colleague's name. And I think there's a lot that needs to be done in regards to legislature on sexual harassment in public, not only in public means of transport, but public generally. There's a lot that needs to be done. So thank you for staying this far into the video. Kindly consider subscribing if you're yet to do so. My name is John Honey. I know I did not introduce myself at the beginning. I did not want to take up too much of your time because I know that you can see the name or the name of the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Kindly consider subscribing. And for the returning subscriber, I really value you so much. You're my gang gang. Bye. Have a great weekend ahead.